Sometimes I like to do an episode just for me. Sometimes I like to pick two albums to deconstruct for no one but local Seattle prog rock heroes and their masterpiece, Manipulator, going against Chiodos, Grand Coda, Bone Palace Ballet, a reimagining, a rearranging. And since Chiodos tapped Thomas Ruck from Fall of Troy on their Nets album, it only made sense to me to put them against one another. Here we go. Chiodos, Fall of Troy. Who's the better band? Chiodos is a legendary band within the scene. Their first album, All's Well That Ends Well, set ablaze in the screamo genre. 1,000 copycats, even Chiodos themselves. Bone Palace Ballet sees them growing production-wise 100%, as well as their writing. They're tighter, they're beefier. Craig Owens is definitely performing a lot stronger. Though I do find that it is missing a little bit of that rawness in All's Well That Ends Well. That production that made that album feel like a DIY garage passion project is kind of missing in this polished midst. It's still Chiodos, but it's a little more standard. The Bone Palace, so like a skeleton palace, it's a ballet for skeletons, graveyard. It's a dance of death. Got it. I got it now. Break yourself, not coming out of this foolish game. Fall of Troy is a kind of Seattle prog rock where they're probably too smart to listen to them. They're too smart for their own good in the creation of the licks that just seems to flow out of his fingers like some sort of magical spell, to lyrics about esoteric ideas of love and nature and human beings, but it's doing it in a cheeky way. And I think what saves Fall of Troy from being too unattainable is their ability to flow into melodies and make it pleasant while also making it heavy and hard. Like Craig Owens, he can get to that really aggressive, erratic screaming, but he also has a very beautiful voice that can carry the tune forward. I really like the opening moments of Cut Down the Trees, but I think if a cannibal uses a fork, sets the mood off better. So if we go to the playlist, our first song is a Chiodos song, but I am counting on my hometown heroes to make it onto the playlist. We see Chiodos become a lot more theatrical on this album. They're feeling like kind of a jazzy, swingy burlesque show that's being played in a beautiful but divey venue. I like what they're doing with the chorus. I like that push. You won't believe in my arms. I like how they hit it. But then we go back into the verse that is just so excruciatingly slow. Song is 5.5 minutes long. I feel like we could have picked it up a little, made the whole song kind of swingy and dancey, and I appreciate the other instrumentals they're bringing in, and I've always appreciated how they utilize the piano, where they legitimately let the piano sound like a piano and not a synthesizer. Woo, woo, woo. I just find for the second song to just bring it so slow, but if you end it on a big, powerful note, then doesn't it seem like a bigger, more powerful song? Dark Trail is a twisted path through a sexual relationship. I can pick you up and undress you. A Fall of Troy really feels like, what if Portugal the man was a Dance Gavin Dance type band? What if we had this kind of 70s bluesy swing type scener over just aggressive, intense, sporadic prog rock? And for me, it hits a note that is just so pleasant, so just really captures the feeling of this romance, of this sexual intercourse. Because you know you can't escape the night. I don't have anything better to do than you. They're able to create a very melodic hook, a very melodic chorus, even in this sporadic song that goes off for like 3 minutes at the end. There still is something there to ground you, to make the song feel like a song. And I think that is what a lot of progressive metal prog bands are missing. They're so afraid to be pop, but if you're just genuine and you're good enough and you can fucking play the licks, it's a winning combination that is gonna capture me every time. Now we're tied up. This has a very strong intro. I like just that pounding tom with how he's shaking, really giving the instrumentals just always something interesting and something new to listen to, a new dynamic. Though I find this chorus like not the most effective. It just kind of dies out in the chorus. Is being heavy gonna be enough to make up for a lackluster middle? Okay, so what am I trying to do by compare these two albums? What am I trying to figure out? To one, highlight a very underrated, just absolute fucking classic CD versus a very large album that I feel like was really big and important in the scene, but left me feeling kind of empty. And I'm trying to figure out why Manipulator, something that obviously influenced Craig Owen since he wanted to get a member from the Fall of Troy, why does it work so much better there than it does here? Craig Owens always seems to come from like a judgy place. There's not one girl here that will be led by her conscience. In a world where every girl wants to be a model, what's wrong, babe? Did daddy not give you enough attention? Some of them probably had dads that gave them attention. I don't think that's the core of the issue. I think it's more of a societal outlook thing, you know, Craig? A weird thing to sing out to a crowd that was mostly made up of little sing girls. Fall Troy gives us this bluesy southern feeling to begin with, bringing us into the quarter past midnight, sitting here in the moonlight, and you feel like you're on a porch in the middle of summer, easing you in the beginning. Then we pull you in. A valid intention. Well, what is it? Let me demonstrate. And the way the instrumentals pick up with every single verse, it's like he's trying to pull you in, almost like a salesman. Here's a few things that I might say if you really want to know. I got nothing in my way. 1, 2, 3, overdose. You make me feel like I can fly. Keep me up all damn night. Incredible. I know you're skeptical. He's talking about drugs. This song is a drug song. It turns that this song makes and how it constantly kind of surprises you with each moment makes it more interesting to me than what Chiodos are doing in here, which just feels like a song to be a song. This song has actually grown on me a lot. I used to not like it, mostly because I don't like its placement. I do not think it should be number 4. The intro, that piano, is so soft. It's so sweet that it feels weird as a 4th song, and it's like, Chiodos, just play your music. I know you're like an upbeat, intense, heavy band, but you're not really showing it that much. I think his flow's really nice, and I like how you're just kind of swinging through it with him. and then that chorus comes in, it actually feels very effective. His voice has a very sweet quality to it when he's singing such a paradox, isn't it? It just kind of floats like a feather falling down through the midst, which makes the chorus stick with you after you've heard it. Equally as baffling, the fourth song on Manipulator is about someone coming in a lady's eye. Lost my sight, making light of you makes no sense. Rub it in while you're picking off your skin. Really, the song is just a 2-minute riffed guitar solo, just monster. And then the lyrics are just kind of inconsequential, and you may not even notice it the first 20 times you listen to it. It's just a short, heavy, intense song to just show what this band can do, what these musicians are capable of, while not also just being intense for the full 2 minutes. But I think A Letter from Janelle is just a little more thoughtful and a little more well crafted. Craig seems to be getting a little meta in this one. To all of my worst critics who were once the best of friends, you're all just crows on the power line. You're all just squawking up there. Why are you making enemies, buddy? The moment she left the room, the album started skipping. Goodbye to beauty, shared with the ones that you love. He writes in such dramatic, poetic sense that sometimes it's like, I just say it, Craig. What are we talking about? Into romantic speculations. Sightings of shape shifting, dissolved into darkness. A final opinion is of less value than appreciation of the tolerance of obscurity. Is he talking about like the press here? Like he's seeing people out of the corner of his eye trying to like get pictures, trying to shapeshift, get into his life. Appreciation and tolerance for obscurity. So Craig wants to be a mystery. He wants to fall into obscurity, but these critics won't let him. Theatrics all made up, the pianos all playing at once through the dust. I found it difficult in my excitement to keep from floating off and off. I don't know what that's in reference to. I don't know when he played with pianos in the dust. I'm a wizard. Don't fuck with me. Craig Owens. I'm a wizard. It's difficult to judge Fall of Troy because really you're judging two different songs. You're judging the pop song that they place in the first 2 minutes, and then you're judging the prog rock instrumental solo craziness that they could shove into the last 3 minutes, where they just go off into whatever direction they can, creating atmospheric tones and taking you through an instrumental journey. On the song side, it has almost like a Coheed and Cambria feeling to it in how his vocal quality is, and the guitar picking reminds me of a Coheed riff. Like when he says you don't have to go home, but you can't say here, he puts a lot of pizzazz in it. And that's when judging these songs becomes very difficult, because it's like, I like singing to it, I enjoy all the metal parts, but on the lyrics front, it's really not much. And Chiodos has a lot more going on here, but the song is more standard, and it's not as creatively competent or creatively artistically driven as the Fall of Troy is. I feel like Fall of Troy could play every single Chiodos song. I doubt the Chiodos could play a Fall of Troy song. What do I judge when I'm kind of lukewarm on both of them? You know what? There's better Fall of Troy songs, and we're going to get so much instrumental fapping that I'm okay with choosing the Chiodos song right now. And with that, we are 5 songs in, and Chiodos are leading. I think Chiodos have a bit of like a tone crisis because the song starts out with that very intense violin and it feels like it's going to be a dark, heavy song. And this album feels like it's going to be a dark, heavy album. It's a Bone Palace Ballet, and I like the use of the instrumentals trying to bring in that ballet sense. But then when we kick into the verses and we're singing about just trying to find bliss in making music, I don't really see the theming. I don't really feel it. Life is a perception of your own reality. And it has like almost a Beatles type Panic at the Disco during their pretty odd era bounce to it that at this point, I don't think this is what I wanted from this band and not really what I thought this band was. Oh, the Casino is the one and only Fall of Troy song I ever learned how to play on guitar, and I could play it okay. It's more of a major, kind of happier sounding, upbeat song for them. The sweetness really works, especially after the aggressiveness that they've been displaying through their instrumentals. It's nice to hear a more straightforward, almost pop rock song, but done the Fall of Troy way. I just like the sentimentality behind it. It comes together a little better than the Chiodos song. Get on there, guys. Craig Owens being a little sexual deviant, a little sexual demon, I'm assuming. It would help if the title of the song actually gave you an idea to what it's about. If I cut my hair, Hawaii will sink. Craig, no one gives a shit about your hair. You keep tugging on my shirt just to pull me closer, one single step at a time, your skin against mine. I can just feel you wondering, fit to be tied. You can tie them up. I feel weak thrown in wide open spaces, so he prefers close, intimate spaces. We turn ourselves inside out, expose what we're afraid to see. It's a 2.5 minute song that just slams into your face, and it's more of what I want from Chiodos. I just wish that they felt this heavy and intense about other things. Sledgehammer is f***ing legendary. What I'm finding is a Fall of Troy is giving me better grooves. Manipulator is the lesser polished album. There's only 3 members as opposed to the 6 that make up Chiodo. The moments in this album that I find myself enjoying make me just want to dance. I'm sure there's more going on here. Recurring themes within the guitaring that he utilizes, themes that he makes, battling ideas that I can't even comprehend because I'm just not listening for them. But the instrumentals are so good and specific to the atmosphere of each song. You're telling me lies, you're telling me another manipulation, and you lost my words. Like, I think constant means like without a constant story, without a constant narrative. You lost all my words. You never heard the engine turn. Now you're worthless, tied to this, coming down on me like a sledgehammer. Just accept the pain. Accept it. This feels like an aggressive argument where you're not really making sense. You're just kind of angry at one another. So you don't really know how to progress. You feel the pain in the instrumentals. You feel the manipulation. It's so hard. A sledgehammer. I don't think I ever listened to this boy band shit. This album is kind of disappointing. It really feels like Craig Owens is a little bit up his own ass. His solo singing piano song, it just stops the album fucking dead. There's no momentum to it. I don't know what the ballet is. We've completely dropped all sense of the Bone Palace Ballet. I'm not the one you want. I'll let you down, and I'm pretty sure that you've caught on. Wah! I'm Craig Owens. I'm sad. You don't want to date me. I'm a bad guy, and you're the good girl. You deserve a good guy. Not me. Bad guy. Sappy motherfucker. There is a risk when it comes to this very sporadic, erratic, progressive metal music styling that it could be a little much. It could be a little annoying. And I find that in C. Alanis, I keep getting pulled out of the song, which may be the intentions. Maybe in that sense, it's supposed to be a very intense, terrifying experience, like you're being captured by this person, by this instigator, and they're manipulating you. They're the manipulator in that sense. Since I've given the pass to Follow Troy, and that wasn't my favorite one, I will give Craig's Sad Soft Song on the playlist, because I guess every single album needs at least one sad Craig song. Okay, this one is new in that it wasn't in the original track listing for the Bone Palace Ballet. It feels like they're trying to make up for the lack of screamo metal music, or else they probably wouldn't have put this in right after the very soft piano song. It's okay. It feels a little half-baked, like they don't really know how to work in the screaming, or the screaming vocals just isn't really working for it. The instrumentals feel very developed, and they're utilizing a lot of what this album started out with, the violins and the pianos and the theatrics, so I like it in that term. But the chorus just didn't really do anything for me. What happened to that band? This is just such an utter display of power, just finger power. The command that he has over the riffs and the licks and the finger, instantly creates such a mood inside you that perfectly captures what they're trying to do with the song. I find interesting all the influences that it feels like they're pulling from when they do sing. When they go into a chorus or a verse, it is played a lot differently than when the instrumentals are just allowed to take over. They're almost commenting on other bands by utilizing their influences and then just making it better and making it different or creative. And sometimes it doesn't work, like in C. Alanis, and then sometimes it works perfectly for me, like in Et's Creations. This is so strange. Like, I don't know what they're trying to go with here. This song feels like a worse quality. It feels like it was recorded at a different time, different production. It has elements. It has the violins. It has some of the swinging motions of the Bone Palace Ballet, but it just ultimately doesn't feel like a song that was made for this CD. It feels like we're in the bonus tracks, but we haven't completed the Bone Palace Ballet yet. We're spending time instead on a song about drinking. Ooh, Craig's such a rock star now. Now I've been drinking all night trying to get rid of this pain in my side. Guys, I drink so much my organs hurt. Really dislike how he said wherever the sunlight is. The way he hits that was... But the now I've been drinking all night kind of brings it back for me, and it's fun. There's still weird choices in it. Shh, if you're quiet, I will show you a dinosaur, which would be wonderful, but in lieu of that, this song is a good replacement. It has the most interesting singing parts from Thomas. He's hitting notes and contorting his voice in a way that Craig Owens is attempting to, but it works so much better here. It's not like perfectly on pitch. The way he goes into the highest falsetto he possibly can in the "Honey, I Think It's Time to See," and then we break it down into just that beat down, saying such a pretty face. Such a shame that it's not gonna smile today. It just brings back what the scene and music was at the time. This weirdly aggressive, violent murder play. For some reason, we all just wanted to kill just fucking, there's whores, man. There's fucking whores. We gotta pin them and kill them and cut them and bury the music. The vocal inflections, this song is It's incredible that the Fall of Troy this far into the album can still bring new layers that I didn't even know they were capable of. More than I can say for Chiodos so far. This is definitely the best out of the newer songs that they have thrown on here, trying to capture that what ends well magic again with imagery, themes about the ocean, an albatross, the slow piano carrying us off to the end, trying to have breakdowns, creative, interesting, energetic breakdowns, much like what we've been hearing from Fall of Troy. This is the most instrumentally creative, vocally creative, and lyrically interesting that these new songs have been, yet it still does not hit the standard that I have for this band, the standard that I know this band can reach. All because people don't learn they much rap. A nice bridge song before our closer. This one is a sweet solo guitar with very little soloing, with very little crazy instrumentals, just about being caught up. It just keeps it very chill from there. And while I do enjoy Caught Up, I do want to give credit to Chiodos and put them on when they do bring a little bit of energy. And that brings us to our final songs, which I'm a little confused since I know that we have at least 2 Chiodos songs to go. Which one did they take off and why? And hold on, 1 second. Sorry, I just want to see if there's a talking at the end. No, they took it out. You can see the lyrics here. Empty is the sky before the sun wakes up. Empty is the eyes of an animal in cages. Empty are faces of women in mourning, and everything has been taken from them. Me, don't ask me about empty. Oh, why would you want to take that out, guys? Why the fuck would you take out teeth the size of piano keys? The best excuse that Reddit has is just to mess with people. Can we just get a little bit of it just in remembrance? What I've gathered in the comments, that this song was taken off of the album because all the lyrics are just kind of taken from a Bukowski poem, a legendary poet who I think Bone Palace Ballet is actually taken from a work of his as well. Weird that they made them take away the song, because it's like their best one, maybe because the lyrics aren't Craig's. But what we're left with is the Undertaker's thirst for revenge is unquenchable. The final battle. And yes, there's other songs after it, but this song does close the Bone Palace Ballet really well. It does bring the emotions and the feelings that were promised in the album from the first couple of songs. It brings that to a close. So now knowing the Bukowski thing and now seeing that he ends this on All the World's a Stage, a very famous William Shakespeare quote that Craig has tattooed across his chest, like a middle school kid that's really into literature. I like the instrumentals in this song. I like the breakdowns. I think it's heavy without being too repetitive. It's going against the Fall of Troy's last song for the playlist: A Man, a Plan, a Canal, Panama, a Palindrome. And we have come to the end of the Fall of Troy experience. An 8.5-minute song that does not let up, a showstopper. They know how you're kind of expecting for a part to play out or a part to kick in. So they twist on that expectation by building up the same way and then pulling the rug out from under it and doing something completely different. It's like they're consciously aware of you getting too used to the tricks that they have been implementing, which made the palette cleanser caught up a really smart decision before going into this 8-minute juggernaut that just, it is a journey. The most difficult part of all of this is having to pick a 5-second clip. It's so hard to describe, like, all the motions you go through with it. It like stops and turns into like a weird scratch track for a minute. If you just hold on just long enough and allow the instrumentals to take you, then this really silly joke song choice then becomes legitimate. And it's like, I think that's the best way to think about music. That's the best way to think about filmmaking or art. What do people want? How can I diverge that? How can I build on that? How can I give them something unexpected? Make it a joke, make it sarcastic. We can have humor in the moment, but then also give them something genuine to come with it. That's why he is the manipulator. He is manipulating you with the music, and he's telling you about these different things that manipulate you as well: people, corporations, money and wills and thoughts and needs and desires, diamonds. All works because there's a driving vision behind it. But it is 8 fucking minutes, and this Chiodos song is a 4-minute banger that pulls you through the ringer. There are 6 Chiodos songs and 6 Fall of Troy songs. I almost wish there was more to this Fall of Troy album so we could have a tiebreaker. Interesting. I mostly have thoughts on Bone Palace Ballet. I've been really wanting to look at and recontextualize that album because I remember it not hitting right and not grabbing me in 2007. Bought it brand new. The Fall of Troy just happens to be a band that's uniquely tied to Chiodos, that came out the same year as Bone Palace Ballet, and is an underrated hero favorite album of mine that I wanted to bring forward, but also couldn't think of a contest in which to do it. Bada boom, bada beam. This is our playlist, much like All's Well That Ends Well, which had a lot of ocean theming, a lot of sea analogies floating throughout the entire album. One would thought that Bone Palace Ballet would just do the same. With Teeth the size of piano keys being their leading single, being so strong, one had hope for it. And one felt disappointed upon listening to a bunch of sappy kind of slow songs. And so many times I didn't know where Craig was going. I didn't know what he was referencing, and it was hard to relate or get into the narrative. With that, I'll have to say Manipulator is an absolute classic banger of an album. And if you like metal, if you like progressive music, if you wish Chiodos made a proper follow-up to All's Well That Ends Well, then I highly recommend Manipulator. If you have very fond memories of the Bone Palace Ballet, then you are valid, because I had things to enjoy and things that I still fucking seen. I really like A Letter from Janelle, and I like the piano version, and the piano version of I Didn't Say I Was Powerful is sick. There we go. I'm Greyson Todd. Thank you for watching this episode that was made directly for me, from me, by me. Was I right? Was I wrong? What would you have chosen? Tell me. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time. Turn the lights off now. That one's off. There, that one goes. Oh. Got that one too. There we are. Now we're in the dark. Oh. Soothing in the dark.
Give you